uncovered. Let us bow our heads, O sovereign ruler of the universe, who art the Lord of hosts, God of peace. Without thee our efforts are vain. Continue thy blessing upon us and our families, we pray thee, and guide us during our deliberations. We beseech thee, O God, to bless the dependents of our departed comrades, and to comfort all who gave their loved ones to our nation's cause. Bless and strengthen the sick, the needy, and the afflicted. Bless, we ask thee, the widows and the children in our national home, to help us fulfill our duty towards them. Continue thy favor upon our order, and help us to practice the spirit of true comradeship, both in our council and the world at large. Enable us to better the community in which we live through our devotion to duty as citizens. We now have a moment of silent prayer for our departed comrades and for those missing in action and held as prisoners of war. These and all other necessary blessings we ask of thee, mighty ruler of the universe. Amen. Amen.
Have a seat. Okay, my name is Randy Wickham. I'm the commander of Post 8, 2855 here at District 8, Blackville, Oklahoma. And we want to welcome the runners and people of Run for the Fallen. It is a great, noble thing that you do. And but I got to admit that I hadn't really heard of it till now, but I'll be putting the word out from now on. I want to welcome our Senior Vice Commander and future State Commander, Coral Porsche. And our District 8 Commander, Richard Cook. And District 8 Commander, Auxiliary, Sherry Landers. Okay, I'm supposed to give a little brief of myself. I served 26 years in the military between regular Army and National Guard. I'm a Desert Storm veteran, and I've been post commander for 3 years now, which has been an honor for all of us. And I can honestly say that I have a little bit of a feeling of what you runners are going through, because I participated in Memorial Run in Oklahoma City, and I and my family did a relay, and my part was 3.1 miles. And let me tell you, the next day after that 3.1 miles, I felt like 12 people beat the holy you-know-what out of me. But it was an honor to do it. Then I'm going to introduce George Lutz. Let's, I'm sorry. Go start with the father.
I am.
And help found the Run for the Fallen. On Memorial Day of 2008 in Norfolk, Virginia, the Honor and Remembrance flag was nationally recognized as a symbol of remembrance for our fallen heroes. Our flag flies on Flag Day of June 14, 2008. The first Run for the Fallen took place, covering 4,100 miles from Fort Irving, California to Arlington National Cemetery, stopping every mile to honor every service member killed since the War on Terror began. And it is truly an honor, and I'll let you have it.
Awesome, thank you.
There's a microphone.
Look it on. Is this better? Yeah. Or is this better? Microphone? Thank you, Randy, and for the opportunity to be here and just share a time of fellowship with you guys. One of the things that has been amazing for us has been Oklahoma, right? State of Oklahoma. We have been on 54 days, and we have traveled almost 2,500 miles. And I will tell you that Oklahoma has been the most welcoming state I think that we have been in. And this has been our 7th state. 2,500 miles in 7 states is, in 54 days, is a lot of running. And I'm not doing any of it, but we have 1 or 2 people with us. One of our team, we have a team of 8, and we all have different responsibilities. And one of our team is our runner, and she personally has almost hit 600 miles, 589 miles personally in the last, I think, 54 days, but 2 weeks of it she was off. So 2 weeks out of that she wasn't running at all. And so what we're doing is, and thank you for the introduction, is 10 years ago, on Memorial Day of 2008, this is actually our 10th anniversary, the Honor and Remember flag was established. You may not know what the Honor and Remember flag is, I hope that you do. But if you don't, it's very similar to the effort that was put forth in the early 70s to bring forward the POW MIA flag for those who were missing or captured. So the Honor and Remember flag was established for those men and women in our history who have Gold Star families, who didn't come home, in remembrance of those loved ones, in remembrance of those men and women. And so we hoped as an organization to establish national public remembrance, with a symbol, and the importance of that, because we know that our veterans and our active duty, they all understand what sacrifice means. But that's a very small percentage of the overall population. And you guys know that it probably compiles, less than 10% altogether. Some of us say, active duty wise, it's probably less than 1%. When you add all the veterans and those that serve that are still living, it's a very small percentage. One of the things that really hit me that I haven't really spoken about is Memorial Day, which just passed. And I found a survey recently that stated that 80% of Americans don't know why we have Memorial Day. 80% of this country does not even know why we have a day set aside to remember our fallen military. And so if 80% of this country doesn't know why, then how do we really remember? I mean, other than those that get it, the choir, that I would call them. So there's a lot of education still to be done out there. And that's one of the reasons why we're doing what we're doing. First, establishing the flag as a way to reach that public, that 80% of Americans, and to give them a way of being reminded that freedom comes at a cost. And then compiling something like this, a run for the fallen, by which we are running across America 20,000 men and women who have given their lives in the last 18 years. So we started with the date October 12th, 2000 with the USS Cole. And then we have gathered and compiled the names of every fallen service member that we could possibly put together from all the sources, from the Department of Defense, from Gold Star families themselves, from military organizations, and tried to put together the most comprehensive fallen military tribute ever compiled in our nation. And what we did was we took this number of 20,000, and this is all the men and women who have died while serving, whether they were in combat or whether they were in training, or as long as they were in uniform. We included them in our data. And if they even left the service and had a service-related death, such as PTSD, which we're all very aware of right now, and those hidden wounds of war, then we added those names as well. So we have probably literally have the largest database of fallen service members of anyone in this country. Because even the DoD doesn't keep track of those after they leave the service. So we have a very, very large database. So what we did was we decided that remembrance was important. That is what our organization is about, the public remembrance of our men and women in the military. And so how do we do that? How do we get remembrance to be top of mind, to be important? So we thought, well, we're gonna do a run across America. There was one that you mentioned that began on Flag Day, also 10 years ago. We absorbed that organization, that Run for the Fallen organization, and we've continued to do individual state runs, but we wanted to make sure that no one was forgotten who gave their life in this entire country. And what better way to do that than to recreate that run? But what I like to do is say we put it on steroids. We added many, 4 times as many, 5 times as many, 6 times as many, almost 7 times as many fallen service members than were first acknowledged 10 years ago. That's an incredible number. And so we created a path across America through 19 states because we had to come up with enough miles to honor every one of those fallen men and women. And so we came up with a way of doing that by their individual date of death. So we identified how many dates of death were these 20,000 men and women. And it came out to close to 6,000 miles, or 6,000 dates of death. So we took a date of death and we made each one of them a mile. And so that is how we get our 6,000-mile journey. So from Fort Irwin, California, to Arlington National Cemetery, we started on April 7th, and we're ending on August the 5th of this year. We're going to end in Section 60, where many of our men and women from the War on Terror are buried. And so that is our journey. This is our 54th day. We have run almost 2,500 miles. They'll tell you exactly how many miles that we've run. And every mile we stop. We're not just saying, as an organization, oh, we're running for our fallen military. We're doing much more than that. We have identified them and we're stopping every mile and calling their names out loud so that not one of them will be forgotten. And not only are we doing that, which is pretty large of an organizational feat in of itself, but we're broadcasting it live to the world. So anybody at any time during the day can go to our internet feed and listen to us honor these men and women, 1 mile at a time. And it is our hope that by this mission, we will gather enough awareness that we can make a national public statement in this country of how important it is that we remember not statistics, but we remember each individually by name. And that is our goal. As I said, Oklahoma has been the most phenomenal state. Coral has done an amazing job to connect us with the VFWs. And I will say that ever since we started this journey, we have been embraced by either the American Legion or the VFW all across the states that we have traveled. And it has been such a welcome for us to know that we are able to be in the presence of those that understand loss, military loss, that want to embrace us and give us a place to just let down and be comfortable, have a meal, be nourished, and be welcome. So it is so important to us, that Post 2855 has allowed us to be here, has welcomed us, and it's just a tremendous joy for us to be here with you. I'm going to just introduce my team really quick, and then we're going to conclude with what we always do every night. If my team would just raise their hand, everyone knows He's been with us for 5 days. But we have Keller who's with us as a videographer, and driver, and runner. And Augie and Paulette, they're Gold Star parents as well, and they are with us for driving and for every other thing that needs to happen. Jack of all trades. I really appreciative of them being along with us. Laura Sutton, who was kind of our national manager, and does everything and keeps it all together. Stop talking about me. Kristen, our core runner, who I mentioned, has run hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of miles and is with us all the way on the cemetery. We have Teddy here with us, Linda. Also our videographer and runner and everything else that we need, driver extraordinary. And I happen to have my wife along with me, Patty. She hasn't been with us this whole time, and she flew out to be with us for a week. And I'm very grateful for that. I haven't seen her for a couple of months. So we're making her drive and sort and do stuff like that. So did I get everybody? Okay. So one of the things that we do, obviously we're running every day, every mile, 8 to 10 hours a day, and we're calling out the names out loud of every one of our fallen service members based on a chronological date of death. Laura, did you have a number for today? What was the number?
154.
100 and how many miles? Just 46?
43.
43 miles we ran today, and 156.
154.
154 service members. 154 service members on those 43 miles, which are, as I mentioned, dates of death, right? So we ran for 43 dates of death today. And those 43 dates accounted for 154 casualties. That's a lot of loss in that very short period of time. So we not only read them during the day, because there's not very many people there to hear them during the day. It's our team and anybody listening on the video. And so what we like to do every night, and we do this religiously, whether we're by ourselves or whether we're in a large group, we reread the names of those that we ran for, so that those that we're with get to hear and stand in for the families that aren't with us. So you get to hear their names, and you get to be the family tonight, and you get to honor them with us. And we ask our runner or our runners to read those names because they are the ones that honor each and every mile. And so with that, I'm going to turn it over to them. And I thank you guys for your time.
So the dates we ran for today were November 27, 2007 to January 11, 2008. And we ended on overall mile 2,471 for our Corporal Wayne Donald Shearer, United States Marine Corps. Lieutenant Commander James Philip Bunnell, United States Navy. Patrol Blair William Emery, United States Army. Specialist William Scott Starr, United States Army. Specialist Kevin Ryan Shields, United States Army. Sergeant Richard Lois Harper, United States Army. Specialist Matthew K. Reese, United States Army. Specialist Jeremy John McClare, United States Army. Sergeant Eric Hernandez, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Andrew Michael Caruso, United States Army. PB-1 Blank Jr. Graves, United States Army. Private First Class Matthew Sean Nicholson, United States Army. Senior Master Sergeant Don Carlos Chavin, United States Air Force. PB-2 Zachariah G. Williams, United States Army National Guard. Sergeant Kyle Dayton, United States Army. Captain William Charles Carter II, United States Army. Private First Class Benjamin Frederick Blair, United States Army. PB-1 Dwayne L. White, United States Army. Sergeant Eric J. Hernandez, United States Army. Specialist John William Greg Tacey, United States Army. Captain Adam P. Snyder, United States Army. Specialist Stephen Michael Kavanaugh, United States Army. Lance Corporal Jeremy Richard Harpster, United States Marine Corps. Sergeant Lamar Anthony Larry, United States Army. Senior Airman Michael Dwayne McIntosh II, United States Air Force. Lieutenant Colonel Samuel Steve Walker Jr., United States Air Force. Staff Sergeant Daniel Lee Ogur, United States Army. Sergeant Hawanta Jolnair Houston, United States Army. Specialist Matthew James Hoffman, United States Army. Specialist Tara Deanne Rourke, United States Army. Private First Class Daniel Keith Richardson, United States Army. Staff Sergeant William Totonu V., United States Army. Sergeant Major Paul Norman Belanger, United States Army. Specialist Randy W. Pickering, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Sylvester Edwards, United States Army. Corporal Tanner J. O'Leary, United States Army. Private Christopher David Klein, United States Marine Corps.
Specialist Jonathan A. Leman, United States Army. Corporal Ephraim Quinn Barrett, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Clifford Michael Stewart, United States Air Force. Staff Sergeant Gregory I. Elam, United States Army. Chief Petty Officer Mark T. Carter, United States Navy. Staff Sergeant Michael J. Gabel, United States Army. Corporal Joshua C. Blaney, United States Army. Seaman Chief Petty Officer J. Michael Schmidt, United States Navy. CW5 Henry Charles Gillespie, United States Army. I served with him, I'm sorry. So that name came as a surprise today for me. Specialist Bryn J. Mailer, United States Army. Sergeant Samuel E. Kesley, United States Army. PV-1 Darren A. Smith, United States Army. Sergeant First Class Leah J. Cornell, United States Army. Sergeant First Class Jonathan A. Lowry, United States Army. Corporal Nevin R. Maria, United States Army. Master Sergeant Raynell Teresa Rabino, United States Air Force. Specialist Zachary Dwight Gary, United States Army. PV-2 Vincent Von Thomas, United States Army. Sergeant Austin D. Pratt, United States Army. PV-1 Joshua Martin Reeton, United States Army. Senior Airman Miguel Ambo, United States Air Force. Lance Corporal Maria Francis Latterbach, United States Marine Corps. Petty Officer Second Class Jamie Alejandro Felix, United States Navy. Petty Officer First Class Garrett Harvey, United States Navy. Petty Officer Second Class Joseph John Urall, United States Navy. Lieutenant Colonel Ray Lawrence Plumley, United States Air Force. Lance Corporal Joseph McNeil Van Hoos, United States Marine Corps. Sergeant First Class Carolyn Elizabeth Farrar Johnson, United States Army. PFC Christopher Dane Adan, United States Army. PFC Justin R. P. McDaniel, United States Army. Specialist Matthew William Anderson, United States Army. PFC Michael Wayland Parton, United States Marine Corps. PV-2 Sean Michael Hirsch, United States Army. Major Kelly Francis Weinberg, United States Army. First Lieutenant Jeremy E. Ray, United States Army. Corporal Caleb Thomas Fallon, United States Marine Corps. PFC George J. Howell, United States Army. Cadet Lindsay Michaela Brown, United States Air Force. Staff Sergeant Raul Luis Marquez, United States Marine Corps. Sergeant First Class William Thomas Henry Jr., United States Army. Sergeant First Class William Thomas Henry Jr., United States Army. Specialist Charles Edward Messer, United States Army. Sergeant Jared Robert Brissett, United States Army. Sergeant First Class Tasha Mantura Taylor, United States Army. Master Sergeant Kenny Wilkerson, United States Army. Petty Officer Second Class Todd Robert Knudsen, United States Navy. Petty Officer Third Class Billy D. Simmons, United States Navy. Commander Christopher Gordon Riley, United States Navy. Petty Officer First Class Mark William Bonsi, United States Navy. Senior Airman Nicholas D. Isham, United States Air Force. Corporal Daniel Lee Tatum, United States Marine Corps. PV2 Jeremy Michael Black, United States Army. Specialist Herman Lloyd Palmer II, United States Army. Sergeant Peter C. Neasley, United States Army. Sergeant Brian J. Tutton, United States Army. Corporal Alexander Ben Owens, United States Marine Corps. Ensign John Robert Harrison, United States Navy. Master Sergeant Julie Ann Lander, United States Army. Sergeant Benjamin B. Portell, United States Army. PFC Donald Jeffrey R. Wood, United States Army. Specialist Richard Andrew Kirk, Jr., United States Army. Specialist Armando Jose Matos Chamorro, United States Army. Petty Officer Second Class Christopher Dwayne Dorthit, United States Navy. PFC Eric David Hayes, United States Marine Corps. CW2 Gabriel Matthew Caron, United States Army. Sergeant Justin Matthew Spears, United States Army. PFC Joseph R. Berlin, Jr., United States Army.
Petty Officer First Class Victor Walter Jeffries, United States Navy. Private Douglas Lee Conahan, Jr., United States Army. Sergeant Reno S. Lacerna, United States Army. Specialist Brian Gorham, United States Army. Airman First Class Trent Allen Grove, United States Air Force. Second Lieutenant Lee Anna Kellner, United States Army. Specialist Christopher Kevin Clemens, United States Army. Specialist William Chandler Tuck, United States Army. Petty Officer First Class Brenda Yvonne Edwards, United States Navy. Fireman Lonnie Lee Davis, Jr., United States Navy. Petty Officer First Class Patrick Brendan Mack, United States Navy. Staff Sergeant Ryan D. Masseth, United States Army. Private Second Class Sean Michael Ron, United States Army. Tech Sergeant Clarence E. Olson, United States Air Force. Sergeant Sean F. Hill, United States Army National Guard. Sergeant Omar Jr. Nunez, United States Army. Major Andrew J. Olmsted, United States Army. Captain Thomas J. Casey, United States Army. Petty Officer 2, Menelec Martell Brown, United States Navy. Airman Apprentice Quintavious Ladarin Henfeld, United States Navy. Private First Class Jason F. Lemke, United States Army. Airman First Class Noah Philip Settle, United States Air Force. Specialist James D. Gudridge, United States Army. Major Michael Lee Green, United States Army. Sergeant James K. Healy, United States Army. Major Nicole Kathleen Chupas, United States Army. Private First Class Timothy R. Hansen, United States Army. Sergeant David J. Hart, United States Army. Private First Class Yvonne E. Merlot, United States Army. Private First Class Philip J. Panier, United States Army. Petty Officer First Class Stuart Bernard Page, United States Navy. Specialist Todd E. Davis, United States Army. Sergeant Christopher A. Sanders, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Sean M. Gall, United States Army. Sergeant Zachary W. McBride, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Jonathan Killian Dozier, United States Army. Sergeant First Class Matthew I. Pyong, United States Army. Sergeant David J. Draplich, United States Army. Private Second Class Michael Emmanuel Holliday, United States Army. Staff Sergeant Garfield Darnell Green, United States Army. Senior Airman Jessica Elizabeth Cheswick, United States Air Force. Senior Airman Chad Russell Jeswick, United States Air Force. Master Sergeant Jeffrey Lee Nicely, United States Air Force. Lieutenant Colonel Richard J. Berrettini, United States Army National Guard. Private First Class Hosea Jonathan Pierce, United States Marine Corps. Lance Corporal Curtis A. Christensen, Jr., United States Marine Corps.
We'd also like to acknowledge Chief Warrant Officer Randy Lee Billings. If there's anyone else who would like to say the name out loud of someone they've lost, whether it be a loved one, friend, family member, neighbor, anyone, we invite you to do that.
We have a Ghost Star mother. She's 92 and her health wasn't up to where she could attend, but they lost their son, Ronnie Simmons, in 1968, and he was Air Force.
And we have a fallen one that was from here that I didn't hear his name. He wasn't from here, but he was from Oklahoma, but his dad and his grandpas were all raised right here in Blackwell, and his last name was, I think it was Jeremy Allball. And the highway, as you go out on Doolin to the interstate, those 3 miles are in his honor, and that was done by the Elks Lodge several years ago, because my son and I at the American Legion had all the family in, and his dad was a motorcycle guy, and we had them from everywhere, and we fed them that day, and we fed over 80 people. And it was an honor to do that.
We had the honor of running with his mother and his brother. They came out, we recognized his smile. It was it was maybe a few days ago, so we.
Well, the highway is in his honor.
We did notice.
And the American, and the Elks Lodge did that in his honor.
I have a cousin that's missing in action. He was in the Air Force. His name was Everett Whitmire from Blackwell.
My brother, he was from Kramer, Oklahoma. He was in the Vietnam War, and he died in 2001 with Agent Orange.
What's his name?
Nathan Ebright, and we was raised in Kramer, Oklahoma. But he died in Houston. He was in the base at
Anyone else? Yes, sir.
A brother-in-law lost his brother in the Navy, 19 years old in Pearl Harbor. He's still serving on the Arizona. He never did make it home.
There was one name I think y'all probably already did his a few days ago. It was Sergeant Buddy Huey. Died in, I think, March of '07. He was one of my kids. Not related, but I trained him.
Anyone else? We'll have a moment of silence. Amen.
Excuse me, while you're all still standing, I was nervous and I forgot one little detail at the start. We can do it at the finish. It's pledge allegiance to the flag. Present arm. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Order.
Our defense and our protection, grant that in battles we may be strong and brave, living such lives of stainless integrity as shall reflect honor upon the country and the veterans of foreign wars of the United States, and glorify thy great and holy name. May thy good providence shield us from harm, watch over those who even now guard the gates of freedom, and bring us together again in true comradeship and peace. Amen. Amen.
Okay, one more thing before we go. George, would you please come back up? On behalf of Post 2855, we will make a small donation.
Oh, thank you very much. Oh, thank you. Honored to be here.
We're ready to eat.
Just before everyone goes to eat, a lot of people ask us about T-shirts and things. They see what we're wearing, and so in order to help us get from place to place, you know, we do have some things for sale. If you have any interest at all, no obligation. You know, we have a table with some things set up on the side. Feel free to come over and chat with us or pick something up or say hi. Thank you. Yeah. Hi. Thanks everybody for being a part of this. Post 2855 tonight. EFW, we're always honored to be hosted, you know, in the evening as we can, and you know, having an opportunity to be in a place where we feel welcome and to be able to read the names out loud and fellowship is an amazing comfort to us every night. So thanks for participating with us. God bless you. We'll see you in the morning for day 55, 7 a.m. as we enter into Kansas, our 8th state. God bless you.
She's